So here we are, spawning on Polar Night, and spawning in the south as the blue Terran player. He represents my insanity, currently 1-0 up in this best of 3. None other than Jjakji. And his opponent, to the north, the yellow Terran player, who represents missing in action. He's gotta win this map to stay with a chance of advancing forward to that finals. It's frozz. And for anyone just joining us now, may be curious what these two are playing it out for, it's Go for SC2 Monday. And Monday nights is the premium. You can only take part if you're a premium member of ESL. And you have to get into the finals and then win it to get 50 euros and a spot in the monthly finals automatically. And the reason that's so good is because the monthly finals have 600 euros on the line. But more importantly, the only other way to qualify is to compete in all of the other Go for SC2 events and win or place well consistently throughout them. The Monday nights, 4 of them, give 4 guaranteed spots there, and that's very important for these players, especially big well-known players such as Jjakji, etc. It's their opportunity to not have to invest too much time around their schedule to get into a relatively high prize pool regular tournament. It's of course very good news for them. So for the moment, frozz just checking out to make sure there's no proxy raxes or anything like that. Not something which I would put past Jjakji from doing. He's cheesed many a game, if he's a game up, wanting just to end it out quickly. And for the moment, looks like that isn't what he's going to be doing, but instead, he's going to be looking towards going for a Reaper opening, most likely. Could also get a Reactor off, not timing it exactly. Meanwhile, frozz, he's going to be opening similar to how Jjakji did with an early factory. That gas came down before the barracks was started. Going to hit 100 gas, and then boom, down comes the factory there. Everything looking pretty damn nice. Jjakji though, he scouts it, comes straight in with that SCV, sees everything coming through. Meanwhile, frozz, somewhat limited in information about what Jjakji is doing. And Jjakji actually adding in that factory a little later than frozz, but opting not to go for that Reaper. So, this leaves us in an interesting spot. Jjakji is slightly better defended, with a few more Marines out, but his factory and tech is quite a chunk later. A second gas though is being added in now by frozz, as well as for Jjakji. If we recall back to game number 1, Jjakji did opt to use Cloak Banshee extensively, and were a contributing factor to him being able to push in nicely and win, by minimizing the number of Marines that frozz had available to defend with throughout. Frozz though, he's going for a different tact, adding in the Widow Mine, and a starport, almost definitely going to be some kind of drop play. Meanwhile, Jjakji just running his SCV around in preparation to start the starport. There we go. Reactor coming down on the barracks as well. Neither player opting for an expansion as of yet, so a bit of a faster paced game in terms of tech for the moment. Couple of Marines just setting up here. Really their main goal is to deny any scouting information. Widow Mine being put on the ramp as well. Any SCVs that try to poke up, frozz wants to make sure they get taken down. Would be still somewhat susceptible to Reapers bouncing up there, which isn't ideally what you're ever going to want, but it's not the end of the world either. Starport coming down here for Jjakji. He's also adding in the tech lab yet again, plus a Viking. This Viking is going to give high ground vision. That's the first and most important thing that it's going to be able to do. Also shuts down any drop play quite nicely. It can start chipping away at medevacs, which we see one coming out ready to go for a little bit of drop play itself. The tech lab, if switched, also opens up the option for Jjakji to get a Raven. Now with the Viking coming out first, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a Raven be produced. It depends whether Jjakji is expecting this Widow Mine play. If he is, the Raven is a great decision, because it means that he's got the option of mobile detection. Unfortunately, this Viking has discovered the medevac coming across, and he's going to start chipping away at it, forcing the unload, keeping everything safe. A second Viking going to come through, the factory switching over, and a tank likely to start in production. Frozz does have his own tank coming through, but frozz is very limited in knowledge about what's happening in Jjakji's base, and that's hurting him for the moment. So, Widow Mine is going to try and burrow, gets taken down instantly though. One managing to burrow down on the low ground there. That's a little bit annoying, but a single Marine sacrificing himself for the team. Medevac goes down as well. Nice little pick off there. And of course, these Marines going to be doing their utmost to try and pick up a Viking. I'm actually going to get the kill. That's some nice news. The Viking also wandering his way forward. Only 2 Marines backing away, but in overall resources lost, frozz is losing more than Jjakji at the moment. And Jjakji is going to be quite happy about that, especially when we factor in the fact that he's 4 workers up over frozz. Unfortunately, a little bit of lag coming down here now from frozz, which is never what you want as a player. It's also very annoying. Some people in my stream chat were commenting earlier that a lot of Europeans have been having issues with Battle.net, and unfortunately it seems to be striking yet again tonight. Kind of my fault, because I sat there in the chat being like, I'm sure we're not going to have any problems tonight, everything seems better, and then immediately in the next game, boom. Looks like it's a little bit of a DC, which isn't the greatest times. We can of course restore or recover the game from replay, but it's always a little bit annoying having to do that. Jjakji is in a pretty strong position this game so far though, with that 4 SCV lead, also being up in army supply. But it's by no means over as of yet. Does look like we are going to have to restore this game from replay, unfortunately though, as we go into the next game. So to save having to chop up VODs and things like that all awkwardly, I'm going to talk on camera for a bit, which is great news for everyone who is tuning into the VODs, because generally speaking, you YouTubers don't get to see my face. I tend to hide in between cutting the VODs perfectly at the start and at the end of every single game. And so I'm just a voice in your head. But this is what I look like, it's pretty cool. Of course, I also quite often show on stream my massive mug of tea. Rather giant. It's awfully delicious. So, just waiting to see whether or not we do get frozz coming back online. Looks like he is offline in the moment, so hopefully that will get resolved pretty quickly. If he doesn't get back on shortly, I will just have to bite the bullet and go to a little break, which ideally I don't want to do if I can avoid it. Just waiting to see whether frozz comes back. Of course, frozz, if he doesn't come back... Oh, there we go. So he's come back in. Just making sure people know to recover the game. Maybe one of the admins will do it for us, but yeah. frozz back online now, and there's a lot on the line for frozz. He's got to win this game to be in with a shot of getting into the finals. He would still have to win a second game up against Jjakji, Jjakji being 1-0 up, which is really nice times for him. Also, there's always the risk that in a map 3, Jjakji will just proxy to Rakshu. It's something that he isn't afraid to do and has done multiple times before. Of course, if you have missed any games this evening, make sure that you do check out my YouTube channel if you're watching live. youtube.com/Madals91. All the games will be uploaded there over the week. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, why didn't you watch live? Every Monday night, twitch.tv/Madals is cool times. And yeah, just waiting at the moment to see when this game is going to get restarted. frozz has reconnected. Looks like the players aren't actually yet creating the recover game. I may do it for them. It may just speed things up a tad little bit. Just because that's usually the way it works. Let's see if they're going. Invite to game. Invite to game. Hopefully they'll all come in. I'm going to recover it all. I'll promote Jjakji up to host and he should be able to finish it off. And yeah, so we're going to be recovering this game basically from the point it left off. It's a cool feature of Battle.net. Anyone who's new to StarCraft doesn't know how it works. It is all very cool. Oh, it looks like I've been promoted back to host. Finding out who needs invite. Apparently I've got to set all of this up. It's one of the joys of doing casting of an online event is you do end up doing a lot of stuff. Waiting for everyone to come through. Making sure that I get all the different casters in. Foreign language casters, lots of them coming through. I think that is everyone. As I check quickly. I'll give them a couple of minutes, but no one else is actually asking it. Twitch chat is actually suggesting I edit my way out of this. I don't know why they'd want me to edit my way out of this. Checking the frozz is definitely ready. I like to give YouTube a chance to like realize what it's like. casting live, because my YouTube channel gives this incredible facade that everything goes perfectly every single time. So it looks like Frozz is ready. No one else has said that they want to get in on this game, so I'm just going to start this up and recover it. Of course, for those of you who don't know how it works, I'm going to show you. Just load in as normal. It's pretty cool. Everything looks like a normal game, right? That it's going, the 2 players are already in. It says that for everyone, though. It says everyone's complete. And then you get this. You get Kerrigan staring at you intensely. And it's all very scary, because it says recovering. You may hear the odd bit of sounds or a bit of game noise. And that's because behind Kerrigan's face is just an overlay. This game is playing through at like multiple times speed. I think it's like times 20 or something ridiculous. But it can't possibly edit that, so it just plays it through. But you still get the odd little bit and blip come out. And then these two, it will start the game paused. Both players will get their chance to go through and get it all set up. And then when they're both ready, they unpause it and boom, it begins. And everything's crazy. So, I'm not sure if I can actually do this, or if the players have to do it. I think the players have to go. Looks like Jjakji can do it, so there we go. 3, 2, 1. And it all gets very cool. So, what we just saw was Frozz tried to go in with a bit of drop. A medevac drop into Jjakji's main, but Jjakji was prepared for it. He had 2 Vikings in a really nice position just to try and snipe it down. So, now it's up to kind of Jjakji to get either some counter damage down or defend a following push. Viking on Viking fight's always very big. The tank though not sieged up. Jjakji moving forward does get hit by a big tank shell. Overall losses should now favour Frozz, I do believe. And yes, it does. That tank sieging up in a beautiful position there, out of sight of Jjakji initially, I believe. And as such, leaving Jjakji with very little, forcing him to scan as well, since a Widow Mine did get into a good position. Frozz relatively secure. Jjakji though does have a Widow Mine placed to try and prevent any natural getting taken by his opponent, as he goes to drop not only 3 Marines but a siege tank into the main base of his opponent. Frozz doesn't know about this yet. He has no vision around the back, and Jjakji just patiently waiting, perhaps wanting to see a commitment of units move out from that watchtower. That's what he sees, and he'll probably wait a second or two and then this medevac should go in. The concern for Jjakji is that he's committed a tank and 3 Marines to this movement, and he's got to now try and defend. And yes, he'll have the siege up position first, the high ground advantage, but this is really short on the ground. First scan's going off, and the scan, unfortunately for Frozz, doesn't give vision. 2 tanks are going to get taken down. The 3rd tank gets taken out. The siege position, beautiful for Jjakji. He's also sieged up in his opponent's main, making things look really good here for him. Frozz continuing on forward though. His Vikings land, take out the last tank, and he's got a couple of units. But back at home, SCVs are fighting the tank off themselves. Frozz down to 12 workers after losing 17. Can Jjakji get out enough? Well, a tank there is definitely going to help. It's a big damage boost, and these Vikings need to be very careful. Even if Jjakji were to lose this command center and force the cancel, which he now won't, he would have been in a beautiful spot, lifting that Viking just in time to come and try and take it down. Nearly kills that Viking, 1 HP remaining. Shouldn't be able to chase it out as of yet. Actually does get the shot down, so there must have been... Oh no, it's the Marine. The hero Marine there. The other Viking's going to go revenge though. Just a little dancing. Transformers, always looking fun. And, well, this is now a very good position for Jjakji to be in. Not only does he have a natural base, he's also up 39 to 14 workers, up in army supply, up in overall supply by nearly double. And Frozz, seeing that tank there, knows it. GG's out, and Jjakji advances on to the finals 2-0.